I'm Cray Beaumont Flynn. Welcome to Beyond the Design, a show that gives you a peek behind the curtain of the design industry and shares the stories of those that are the driving force behind it. Well, welcome to Beyond the Design. Today we have Marcus and Autumn Mohon from Mohon Interiors. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Happy to be here.
Absolutely. Great. Well, I'm just going to jump right into it and ask, what inspired you to pursue a career in interior design? And how did your journey lead you to establish your own firm in Austin?
Well, a couple of things inspired me. You know, I was always, as a little kid, rearranging my mom's furniture. In between, it was soccer games and then staying up late and watching, cable TV in the 70s and rearranging the furniture. And then actually not far from you, she's in Edmond, Oklahoma.
Okay.
She had a design firm for years, and I have an economics degree, and I went back to school the second time and went back to school at the University of Texas. I'm a little bit older than Autumn, and she was in school about 30 minutes south. And that's how I picked my design school, because we had started dating. Mm-hmm. And you want to jump into the story at all, or do you want me to keep going?
Sure, I can jump in. He's really creative genius, I think. He's the one who, from a little kid on, could draw anything and create things. It's just been in him, but he never thought of it as a career.
Never crossed my mind.
Just growing up in Texas, and it just never occurred to him. So that's why he majored in economics. So years later, when he decided to pursue interior design, when he realized that artistic side of him was really the more powerful side.
Kept me out of law school.
Yeah, he decided not to go that direction. I went to school to become a teacher because I was drawn to helping people and learning and, world, because I studied geography. So when we met, and then we decided to launch our own business, it kind of just worked out that I handled more of the business side and he was the creative driving force. Right. And that's kind of how it's always been for the past 22 years, right?
Yeah, so she's the boss.
Oh, okay. She's in charge. She handles the money.
And we actually launched, it's been under a couple of different names, but we launched September 1st, 2001, 10 days before September 11th.
Oh, wow.
So all three projects we had to start our business canceled. And we thought, if we can make it now, we can make it anytime. And at that time, we had just closed on our first little house in Austin. We had a 1-year-old, we had 4 kiddos. So we had our first child, and I had no job. And we started a business, and then the whole world turned upside down. So it was exciting. I mean, that was actually a really special time. And, during those times makes you really appreciative for the good ones.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, economics kind of helps on the business side. You know where the money's going if she's not giving it to you.
Yeah, exactly. The funny thing is, it wasn't even a business degree. It was a social science degree.
Gotcha.
So it's really good for nothing.
It looks good on paper.
Yeah, exactly.
So is there a pivotal moment or experience that shaped your approach to interior design and influenced the direction of you two having your own firm?
I think there's a house that's here in town, and I like to say I carried that house in my heart. Usually, you come to a new construction with a full, thick set of drawings from the architect, full construction set. They came with a thin set, and we worked out most of the details on site. And this couple took a risk on me when I was young and had no portfolio to show. And
they were some of our first clients when we were in that phase of just starting off without a great portfolio to show, just like he could draw things.
Right.
And they loved to sit and watch me draw.
Yeah.
I mean, and I'd come home from these 6-hour meetings, and Autumn would say, "What can you possibly have left to say that they want to hear?" They're involved in the process, and we're still friends with them. We shot their most recent house for the upcoming book. Really gracious, wonderful people. And so we worked this whole house out together. And because I was so involved in every square inch of every wall, ceiling, and floor, and all the millwork and every detail, this house sort of is what's the phrase? The ship that launched at that? I can't remember. It launched our career. Right. And it was our first nationally published project. And it's probably gotten us the most clients still years later. And then they decided to sell the house. And I was so sad, and I sort of let this thing die, let it go in my heart. And the new owners hired us to redecorate.
Oh, well, there you go.
We got to do the whole same house. So this is a house that, you know
better than any other house you've ever worked on, because he drew every little detail of every inch of that house.
Yeah. And oftentimes standing inside the house as it was being
So you could say it's part of your DNA and soul. I mean, you put so much into it, and it's your firstborn.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
That's a good way to put it.
Yeah. And
it's
not much younger than our first.
It's all about timing. So as founders of your own firm, what has been some of the most significant lessons you've learned along the way? What are you most surprised about that you didn't know, and what you do know that's kind of never come to fruition?
What's the last part of the question? What I do never.
What you do know, or what you thought you knew you thought was an important factor, but it's never come to fruition.
I think that the most surprised I've been has been long-term relationships. The projects are great, but the people are even better. And we've done projects for clients 2, 3, 4. I think one client we've done 5 projects for. And just the fact that people come back, and the thing that you're telling them when they're young, you buy a good upholstery and you can recover it. You actually start doing that.
Right.
And so I think that's been the surprise about the longevity of relationships. But that's kind of baked into who we are and what we like. So we try to maintain those anyway. Was there anything that surprised you, sweetheart? Put you on the spot.
Surprised me. I don't know that I just in business in general, this isn't a surprise as much as it is just a truism. There are the highs and lows. So in the economy and with people, when somebody's building a house, it's exciting, and then it takes a long time, and then it goes over budget. Not our part as much as just the house. And then, there's frustration and discouragement, like, will it ever finish? And then it does, and then they're happy. And so you kind of see that process over and over again, so you can expect what the client may be feeling and going through it. So I think doing it long enough, that's coming. And also having been in this business long enough, that it ebbs and flows. It ebbs and flows nationally and regionally with the economy, with, And
you're not as panicked by it. We know, this phenomena has accelerated, but we know that every presidential election year, the second half of the year, this market usually pauses because of uncertainty. And then you hit Christmas, and it doesn't really pick up till the next year. Now, it happened with the midterms last time. So I think with the animus in the country and the angst, so we're like, okay, what's this year going to be like business-wise?
Right.
But we've also been in it long enough to know that we can weather the storm, and we've had good enough practices that you're not surprised by it. So highs and lows happen in the luxury home market, and we're thankful for you prepare like the ant or the squirrel or whatever it is.
We've had a few couples on the show that actually work together and run the business together, which sometimes is a balancing act. How do you balance the creativity with the practical aspects of running a successful firm, and your personal and your professional lives? Because sometimes you do take it home.
Well, I'll back into it. I think we've been doing it long enough that we don't really take it home. It takes a real catastrophe to bleed over into our home life. And as I mentioned a while ago, we have 4 children. The oldest is married in 23 and the youngest is 16. So there's a lot going on at home that we don't have room for to take work with us. But what was the front? Oh, balancing. And the other thing is, we're not in any rush for our last child to get out of the house. We have one left in the house. She's a dynamite, but she's driving now and gone a lot. And we're going to be really good empty nesters. So we like being together. So work is not necessarily a problem. The only time it was when we were sharing a partner's desk.
Oh, yes.
That did not work.
She's really... No. I keep things really neat and organized. I have like an inbox. I have what I'm working on. I have a like for later area, and his area. I don't know. You can't see it, but there it's like even right here. There he's painting all the time. He has like
watercolor.
You're the creative.
Paintbrushes.
So I would have to sit down and go like literally shove the items to his side and like this is my boundary. And now, so we don't share a desk. That didn't.
Right.
That was too much sharing. But yeah, working together is fun. We the only thing he takes home typically are things that he really enjoys doing, like painting, because that's relaxing to him.
Watercolors.
Yeah,
like renderings, yes. not painting.
Right.
No, painting with watercolor.
Say she's real. We both know what our lanes are, and she's amazing. Autumn has this innate gift to make problems go away or get them solved. She was talking to somebody just this morning that I would have been like, "Oh my gosh, you're crazy!" And she listens well, she handles it. She's right here. I mean, it's impressive. So we play to our strengths. I mean, if it's basketball. If you're the guard or the forward or the post, you know what position.
Right. So Autumn, it's called creative. What is it called? Creative chaos.
Yes, that's how we live. Definitely creative chaos, and it's so funny because he knows where things are in that. I don't even get it. Like he has magazines for the past 20 years, and I try to purge them occasionally, but he's always like, "No, there's that one." There's that one this on the cover. I want to, and he knows in his head. So I can't
exactly what page it's on and what. Yeah.
Crazy.
Well, maybe the page number before I turned 50.
Right.
I kind of lost the page numbers.
So, what motivates you two and your team on a daily basis, especially during really challenging times or challenging clients and challenging projects and life in general?
I think that the biggest thing for me is I try to remember we really are a service industry, and we're doing this for another person, another family. So we want at the end of the project, at the end of the day, we want somebody to come home to a place that they really love and feel like they got value for what they spent with us. So that motivates me, because really keeping in mind that the best thing for us as a firm is really doing what's best for our clients.
I think that's well said. We value, this sounds so hokey. I'm going to say that before I say it, I've realized it. But we love our home. We value home life. We want the decoration and the interiors to be the background for. It's like the stage set for their lives are the show, not our interiors. So if we can do something that enhances another couple's or family's or single person's life, whoever lives in the home, if we can provide a platform that is an incubus for joy and celebration and togetherness and everything that a person values, that's what motivates us.
Are there any particular projects that you can think of that really challenged you on a design aesthetic?
Oh, you can think of one?
No, I think you can think of one.
Are you thinking of one?
No.
Oh.
Yeah. But I know that you. Oh.
You know what? I'm going to say yes and no. Okay, maybe one. We were still friends. We parted friends also, but it was one of those times that we both came to the conclusion of maybe I'm not right for your house.
Right.
And because she wanted, because I have this philosophy that style has to reflect. It's a Gantt chart. You have the architecture, you have the client, you have good design. Where all over those overlap. That's our target. And that way you can be logical. And if they have grandmother's settee, you can take it out of the emotional and say, does it fit this criteria? And it helps everybody. So because I start from a place of it being architectural and taking its cues from the architecture, I think the structure, the interior details, the furnishings should all speak the same language. Or if you're intentionally mixing it up, at least speak the same language with different accents. And there was one time that, she and I and her house and her furniture we were not on the same planet. And I did a couple of things. Like, she wanted these two giant cherry red mohair sofas. And I was like, the color was great, but it was the volume. And I was like, I'm not sure this is going to work. And so, so we did them, and her husband said it looked like a whorehouse. And he was wrong.
Well, you are in Texas.
We both just came to the conclusion that, you know what, we parted friends. I mean, that's what's great about it. It's all about communication. So
True.
that was maybe the only challenging aesthetic one.
Well, yeah, we're pretty good at, when we talk to a potential client, filtering out if we're going to be on the same page aesthetically. Normally people really contact us if they like our work, so that helps. But so we don't have a whole lot of that. I was thinking more of the challenging ones are when we work for our families.
Oh, that's a no-no.
But just he had stories from when he was helping his parents with their house and how his mom had such a hard time trusting him.
Yeah, she'd say, I don't know about that. And I was like, Mom, people pay me money for this.
Right.
Exactly. I actually do this for a living,
Yeah.
So.
Oh, I hear you. Yeah. I've stopped doing that. Well, what do you think? Oh, whatever you think, whatever you want.
It looks great. It's great. Right.
Yeah.
Looks beautiful.
Why didn't you tell me this didn't work? Well,
does agents when I did tell you, right?
Exactly. Is there a specific Mohon design aesthetic or signature?
I think more so than there used to be. If you'd asked me 10, 15 years ago, I would have said no. Mm-hmm. First of all, an approach. I think it all starts with geometry. If everything were completely white in a room, if you get the scale right, the lines, if you get that right, a room can work. So you start there. But I think our rooms have we're sort of the neo-traditionalist in the sense of, especially when Austin has built nothing but white, super modern boxes for the past 15 years. And we've done houses, but also ours have a layer of still romanticism to them. So, this romantic sensibility that not everything's hard-edged, even if we're doing a modern house, right. There's soft, there's warmth, there's approachability. I want the room to be alluring, to beguile you, to say, come sit here and never leave. So I think there's a romantic quality. And often because of our past work, that lends toward Southern European vibes, even if it's academically not perfect, which we like to mix things up some. So whether that's in a mountain house, stuff we've worked on in Aspen, Telluride, or California, or the panhandle of Florida, we like to layer in continually this romantic sensibility.
Fantastic. So you don't do the...
Oh, go ahead.
How do I put it politely? The Texas farmhouse look?
Yeah. No.
No.
I love Waco. We're in Waco a lot for football and basketball games,
right.
But not necessarily our vibe.
But we have once done a house almost completely out of round top vines. So it wasn't a house, but it was.
Yeah, but so many round top vines. It wasn't like country rocking chairs.
No. Oh gosh, no. It was cool round top vines.
Love round top. I love round top.
Yeah. Well, beautiful. Pieces. I had a client. It was out at their ranch, and we redid the house, and she had an extra barn full of furniture, and we just took the flatbed trailer, put it on the pickup truck, drove it over there, and filled it up, and went shopping in her own barn. It was the easiest installation. Wasn't the most profitable, but the easiest.
So what is your process in coming up with a conceptual design and execution and working with the client and developing that? Do you like them heavily involved, or you prefer them to kind of give the 2 cents of where they're trying to go and then step away?
Sweetheart, why don't you start?
Well, we really do what the client prefers. Some clients like to be really involved. Some don't. Most are somewhere in the middle. And it's actually preferable to have a client who is a little bit involved. Our first step is really to either help the client understand what their design style is, what they really like. And that we do through imagery and talking. Because some people come in knowing what they like, and some people really don't. They may like, they may see something and kind of like it, but see something else and kind of like it. And they're really not sure about what their own style is. So it depends on where they're starting from. If they are really confident in their style, that part can go quickly and we can move to the next part. It's funny because 90% of the time at home, the style of the home seems to reflect the wife's wardrobe.
I'd say it's 95 to 98.
Really?
I mean, yeah.
Wow.
With the colors that somebody's drawn to, over and over again, we've seen it. Like when we're about to have a client meeting in an hour or so.
You go straight to their closet.
You could almost, really, you could. Like with what I'm wearing right now, you could. I'm primarily neutral in what I like. Simple shapes, nice geometry, a little bit of color. And that's how I like things at home too. But so I sidetracked onto wardrobe, but it's really the first step is understanding a person's style and they can be as involved as they want to.
And it's better. A better project is when clients have opinions, and even if they don't know why they have those opinions,
right.
Is if they're experiencing confusion, and we're helping them to unearth the excavation process to discover what that is. A lot of the time they'll say, I don't know why I like these things. And they think they're bringing in a lot of disparate elements and they're really all connect. Our job is finding that connection. So, it's psychologist, forensics, marriage counselor, all those things, and 10% designer. But the process is about them. So like Autumn said, we love through them to be involved because better projects are when the clients, if they lie to us, not intentionally, but if they're trying to act like they know more than they do, it takes us longer to get there. Sure. So one of my favorite clients, she's an attorney, and I loved it because she's super intelligent woman and very confident enough to know when she didn't know something, and was very excited to ask the questions and learn. So it's really good when you have that communication back and forth. So our process is a lot of talking, and we like to talk, and then we'll, depends if the meeting's late in the day, wine, tequila.
If there's an excuse to have wine for a meeting,
it's like, but it sure makes the meetings go smoothly. Yeah. And then the process, we develop what they like. We usually do, the construction part first, the decorating second, the installation, and then the go to each other's kids' weddings and hang out for years to come.
So that brings me to a question. Can you think of particularly a memorable client story that encapsulates the essence of Mohon?
The essence. I came up with one that is so far out there that doesn't necessarily catch the essence.
Tell that one, whatever it was.
I think it might capture the essence. Okay.
I have no idea.
Go for it. Go for it, Morgan.
I'm just laughing to myself. Okay, so there's this big thing in San Antonio called Fiesta. And it takes over the city. It's much like Mardi Gras in New Orleans. And they have these princesses and queen, and these gowns cost tens of thousands of dollars, and the families throw parties. So I had a client, both their daughters were duchesses that year. And so I decorated for the opening, the crowning with the coronation when they crowned the queen. Every different family has a party afterward. So I did all the decoration, and my client said, hey, here's a key to a hotel room. You can go shower before the coronation. It's like, great. So I run over there and I walk in, and it's the family suite. And, there's little bathrooms, but there's my client, her daughters, and the makeup artist, and the hairstylist, and their escorts. And I go get ready, and they're all running late. So I say, I told my client, I said, well, I have my car at the valet. I can wait for you. Let everybody else go. So I'm waiting there with my client. And they have these lapel pins that are put on with magnets that the fathers will wear on the lapels of their tuxes, and the women will put it somewhere on their dress. So my client had a strapless mermaid, very, very fitted dress on. And she had forgotten to put the magnets in place. So she looked around the room, and all that was left in the room was her future son-in-law and me. And she said, Marcus, can you come over here and give me a hand? I need you to put your hand up my dress and get these magnets up to my stomach.
I can't believe you're telling me.
I can't either. Well, it's all about customer service and relationship.
Yeah, there you go.
So I got down on my knees and I give my hand and the magnets, and I get about mid-thigh and got really embarrassed. And then one of my college roommates who's an ER doctor, and I said, this is just like medicine. This is design. And so I got those magnets all the way up here. She had them right here. Those pins were on her dress. She looked phenomenal. And then we laughed about it with Autumn and her husband.
Yeah.
A little while later.
It was crazy.
So it's about doing whatever it takes for design. I mean, it's about whatever you need to for your clients, and it's about a lot.
I love it. Great analogy. So what do you think what sets Mohon apart from interiors in other cities throughout Texas and Austin, and what values drive your design philosophy?
Well, may I go?
Yeah.
Okay. Excellence, attention. I learned from a band director in high school, attention to detail. We were, everything I've done through my life, and I've tried to pass this on to my kids, that whatever's excellent, whatever we're doing, the word fine, like it's fine, is a dirty word around here. It's fine. Oh.
Yeah, I used it yesterday and he got upset.
That is the F word.
Parking.
Fine.
He was like, no, I'm fixing it.
Yeah, and so it's attention to detail, and it's excellent. Even if you have a tight budget, Robert A.M. Stern once said that any idiot can design using an unlimited budget. But if you can design well, pay very close attention to excellence and detail, and execute something beautifully with good proportions and beautiful craftsmanship, that's what sets us apart. And pretty good taste. I mean,
yeah. But the other thing that I'm looking around to see if I have an example to show you.
Don't turn your back on the camera.
Well, I have to fix something.
It's okay.
You can do. Is this a good one? Okay.
Why don't you just get one of these?
Well, I didn't know. I can pull it off it. Okay. Apparently this one is better. So that he can hand draw things, and a lot of people can't do that.
True.
And there's just romantic, I think, with taking watercolor to paper and creating. Like a lot of computer renderings are great, but to me, they don't have risk.
It's also the artistic value too.
Oh, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and they don't have mystery. I mean, that's the other thing. Design needs mystery. If you want it to look like every other house that you see on Pinterest, go to RH. If you want something that can be created and crafted and has mystery and magic, that's why you go to a designer. I hope that sets us apart. I mean, I have other good friends around the country who, there's this one great designer in Chicago. I said I'd hire her for my house. I really wouldn't, but I just like her work, and I do that. Another friend in San Diego, Amy Meyer. Yeah, so I love their work. Better, but
I mean, your handwork is beautiful. I mean, you don't see that much anymore because everything is derived by technology and. Yeah.
Thank you. Well, it is. And because if it flows out of your hand, like here was a steel bookcase that we ended up having produced, a powder room, show and tell TV.
How do you foster a collaborative and supportive environment within your team? And how does this dynamic contribute to the firm's success?
We almost don't have to. I feel like, we have people who've been with us 10, 6, 3 years, I think, and we're a small boutique type firm. So We're close. We support each other when they're, everybody knows how to fight well. If we get in a tiff, we can resolve it. We communicate directly. We encourage people. I think encouragement is huge. I think good correction is important, because my motivation for everybody on the team is for them to be better. I have ambition for them. Like if they want to have their own design firm someday I will be the first on the front row cheering for them. And so I think it's you foster a good team by hopefully them knowing that we are for them. What else?
I think so. And I think it because it's been easy, because we really have hired people who we like, we think they're talented, and we enjoy them as people. It makes the community, the office.
They can hear us. Don't give them too big a head.
I know.
We only like some of y'all. Sorry, go ahead.
What are some of the most rewarding projects that you can think of that you've worked on, and what makes them what makes them stand out in your mind? It's like, oh wow, I wish we do this one more. Or just,
I know what you're thinking.
No, you don't.
Are you sure? Okay, well, I know what he's thinking. We finished a project for some empty nesters there in Austin. Is it what you're thinking? Yeah, I knew it. Yeah, I know.
You've been married long enough.
Yeah, I knew it. So she had to continually trust him. She was reluctant often to go for things that were different from what she had seen before or had thought of before. You hire a designer to kind of help stretch you beyond the things that you already thought. So she took a risk on some furniture pieces that are not that crazy, actually, but they were just risky for her. And there was one chair that she ended up calling it the ugly Marcus chair, because he would keep showing it to her over and over again. It had a name, the ugly Marcus chair. And so she ended up ordering the chair.
It wasn't ugly. It was dynamite.
Nothing was ugly about it. So when we installed the house and they were gone, the best installations are when you can do it all and the client's not there, and then they come in and the house is installed. That's the best scenario. So that's what was happening, that the clients walked in and we were there like a party for them. And she just started crying, tears of joy, because she was blown away by the whole thing. And then she turned and saw that chair and she even cried more. She was like,
she said
the ugly Marcus chair. She sat down and cried and loved it. And I loved that project because she took that step of trust. She took that was willing to risk a little bit, not knowing exactly what it would be like, but trusted and was so excited with the results.
The process was great. I mean, this woman is beautiful. She's turned 70 recently, and you can't tell, but she's got the most beautiful salt and pepper hair. And talk about a house looking like the client. I mean, she'd say, well, shouldn't I have some pattern or this or that? I'm like, honey, look at what you're wearing. Every time she'd come in, I'd be like, and she would call me up, and she's so funny because she'd call me and she'd say, now I'm worried about this. And she'd go through a list, and I'd say, okay, and I'd listen to her, and I'd say, okay, and I'd respond to each thing, and we'd talk through it, and she'd say, okay, great, I feel better. By the end of the process, she'd call me. She'd say, I'm so worried, Marcus. She'd go through the list, and she'd say, and you're going to say this. And she'd go through the whole list, and I would say, you're exactly right, Connie. And she said, okay, I feel better. And so it was a journey of trust and faith with her. And they did something daring for them. And I love the project, not huge. And it was the first, it was in the regional Lux, but it was the first Texas project to make the national issue of Lux. And it was on the national cover. So it's a great house.
Looking back on the journey of Mohon Interiors so far, what are you most proud of achieving?
Oh, that's a great question. What are we proud of achieving? I don't, because one thing, we're not there yet. We haven't achieved everything yet. But what I hope we achieve is what Marcus described earlier, for families to come home to places that they love whenever that happens, like the story we just told.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I want to achieve for all of our projects.
Yeah, I agree. There's a house on the coast of Texas, and huge house, and a lot of style to this house. Great art collection that we helped curate with an art dealer, and some intensity to it. I mean, Baroque chandeliers, and so how do you make a huge house? And it's very much a family house, and with both with their children and the extended family over all the time. How do you make a huge, very stylized house that has to hold up to major events and fundraisers? How do you make it also a family house? And I think we did it. And my favorite moments is when I've been there and the mom is in the kitchen cooking. They have some
She
people.
has her garden too, and with the egg, chickens are cool.
Yeah, we designed a custom chicken trapeze inside the chicken coop.
The chickens have a very nice home.
So I think it's I love seeing that we are able to mix. I'd thrown out the word years ago, formal and informal, and we are able to live with beauty and style and with warmth and approachability.
How do you envision the future of Mohon Interiors evolving both professionally and personally in the context of your lives and aspirations?
Autumn is from the Texas Hill Country, and she grew up in Fredericksburg, and her folks here, you can tell them. They basically own most of the buildings in a little town called High Texas. The dance hall, the post office where LBJ mailed his first letter. It's very near Johnson. And we're turning over ideas how to turn this town into the vibe that has everything that we like going on: hospitality, interiors. How do we give the dance hall new life? Anyway, so that's kind of the next project, because this one's humming along pretty nicely. So that's the next idea. And Autumn wants to office in Aspen. I was like, okay,
that's not bad. I'm with you there.
Yes.
No, I always want offices where our kids are, and so. Like Santa Barbara, we have a kid in school he's going to be in Italy. I'll take an office in Italy too, but whatever. Sorry,
my bad. We'll cut that one.
What advice would you give to what advice would you give to homeowners or businesses in Austin who are looking to enhance their spaces through interior design?
I would say budget more than you think. And go. I mean, that's not a sales pitch. I'm not trying to be a used car salesman, but my whole thing is, look, either do it great or don't do it.
Right.
Don't kind of do something half-baked, or nobody will be satisfied in the end. So when you're ready to go, be prepared to go and be committed. But if you kind of half in, half out the whole time, everybody's going to be miserable.
Is there a particular type of project that you have not done yet that you want to do?
I used to say I wanted to do a boutique hotel. I'm not positive. I think I maybe want to open our own country inn so that I am the client. It'd have to be the right spot, because even a boutique hotel has still a lot of pitfalls. I have a friend in San Francisco runs a giant architecture and design firm, and they do huge hotels all over the world. And I talked with him all about the process, and I was like, that is fascinating and impressive, and not me.
Right.
So I think it'd have to be a tiny one and really stylized. Like, there's one of our favorite places we've stayed. And I think good boutique hotels inform great residential design. And one of my favorite places we've stayed is the Portrait Roma. It's near the Spanish Steps in Rome, and it's owned by the Ferragamo Group, and it's above the store, and you get a discount, which is the store.
Not bad.
Yeah, but it had 11 rooms. And so this kind of place that's beautifully appointed and not everything's alike, I'd like to do one of those. You know anybody looking for one?
Maybe. Looking ahead, what exciting developments or projects can we expect from Mohon Interiors in the near future?
Well, March 25, we have our first book coming out. So we are really excited about that.
With Rizzoli.
Yeah.
Plug Rizzoli. Love them.
Yeah. So that's we've done all the photography, we've done all the layouts. It's still in the process of Marcus is working with the writer and writing it together with them. So we're still going through that process, but pretty soon it will be off and being produced, and then we'll be busy with book tours and
coming to a town near you.
Yeah. Probably little in Tulsa too. Yeah.
And what else? What else do you want to let the listeners know of what's going on?
Exciting development. This is more personal than business, but we're expecting our first grandchild.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah.
This year?
In about a month.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So
You're too young.
We were just used to the whole idea of a married child, and just trying to get used to the whole idea. Because we still have a child at home. I'm like, come on.
Right. So what inspires and motivates you both?
That. I mean, and honestly, this is going to sound so practical, but paying for college. We're I think if we counted up all the semesters, we're just over halfway for all 4 kids. And no, I mean, really what inspires me is I want to, because we've been evaluating, what do we want to do for the next 25 years? How do we want to spend, what we anticipate our active time? Mm-hmm. And I think it's about injecting everything more artistically. And whether that means a different career 15 years down the road, or we're, when no young people want to hire us or whatever, I think it's about making it continually creative and finding more and more continually creative outlets. Whether that means I've thought about going back to school to study art history, or to get into painting more, not just as renderings, but there's a painting school in Italy I'm planning on doing soon. So I think it's about, for me, it's the vision about expanding creative output. There's a book I love, a guy in town in Austin actually wrote it, called The One Thing. And I'm continually asking, what's my one thing? What's the one thing you can do that makes everything else easier or unnecessary? And for me, it's doing something creative. And then you dial that down into practicals. But anyway, what about you?
How about you, Adam?
Gosh, what motivates me?
Motivates, inspires you, keeps you going, keeps you ticking.
If you don't say if there's.
What are you going to say from me?
No, you say.
You were going to say like all the running stuff, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Is that what you're going to say?
Well, for me personally, yes, that's a big deal to me. I run marathons. I'm trying to do one on every continent.
There's a thing called the Continents Club, and 5 down, 2 to go. So
yeah, I'm doing Buenos Aires in the fall, hopefully, and then I have just Antarctica left. And
No, Australia.
I'm sorry,
You've already done
Australia.
Antarctica.
I've done Antarctica, just Australia.
Wow.
And I want to do that when I turn 50 for my 50th birthday party. And
what are you doing? Come on.
Maybe
go with it.
the key is if I could get him to run like the half, or maybe even a 10K.
Oh, sure.
Maybe.
She's never asked this before now.
But for my 50th
Sure,
birthday.
yes, I will do it on TV.
Okay.
I'll just go to Australia with you. I used to live there, so I definitely want to go back.
But I undercut your answer.
That's what really, it grounds me. I run pretty much every day, and I have to spend my energy like that. It clears my head. I like to be outside in whatever the weather is, cold or hot or rainy, not thunderstorms, but just to connect with nature. So much of our life is indoors, so it's nice.
Ironic for what we do, right?
Right.
Well, even with what we do, I think a lot of people are drawn to our spaces that are indoor, outdoor, where it connects. You do like where things can open up, and you have landscaping and
because we're in warm environments,
right? Yeah. But even places that are not as warm, that like that house we did in Aspen, even though you're not outside, the outside is so much a part of the interior.
Mm-hmm.
Well said.
So all the places you've had projects in the outreach, is there any particular environment, city, place you want to do a project? Like, we'd love to do a project here or do this. Yes. You mentioned boutique hotel, but how about a place?
Yeah, we've worked in the panhandle of Florida, but Well, I was about to say we haven't done a project in Alice Beach. We have.
We have done.
Never mind.
You would love to do another one there because you love that.
Yeah, I'd love to do one of Marianne and Eric's houses. Marianne, Corey Vogt, and Eric Vogt were the town architects that helped develop Alice Beach. And I think if I won the lottery, the first thing I'd do is go build a house in Alice Beach and hire them as the architects.
Is that in Texas or in Florida?
Handle, Florida. It's it's in between Rosemary Beach and Seaside.
Okay.
Alice Beach is, I think, the most beautifully developed community down there.
Hmm.
What about you? Where would you? Where would you want to work?
My locations are strictly driven by where my kids have gone. So I would love work in Santa Barbara because I like Santa Barbara anyway. That's not like
Barbara anyway. Yeah.
Yeah, that's not a bad market, design market.
Yeah, true.
Another kid is in St. Louis. I know nothing about as far as the design world in St. Louis, but
our third son is in school in Waco. That's okay.
Right.
Santa Barbara. Project in Waco.
Hey, how about you said Italy? Your one son is going to Italy, or
heading in Orvieto. We're going to see him in a month or so. So
yeah, he'll be there for. He's an art major.
We'll let the other kids know if we're coming back.
A boutique hotel in Italy. There you go.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, you two, it's been a complete honor and pleasure to meet with you, and it's been absolutely fun. Is there anything else you want to share and add?
No, thank you so much.
Yeah,
we appreciate it.
Yeah,
I mean,
this has been fun.
Yeah, fun and honored, very much so. We can't tell you how much.
Fantastic. Well, Marcus and Autumn, it's been a great pleasure and much success moving forward with you guys, and I look forward to seeing the book when it comes out.
Okay, thank you, sir. We'll send you
All
one.
Right. Well, take care.
Bye.